Ever wondered where Clive Owen or Cameron Diaz suddenly went? It seems like one day they were everywhere, on magazine covers, starring in blockbuster films, and then, without warning, they vanished from the spotlight. In this video, we'll dive into the surprising stories of some of Hollywood's biggest stars who quietly stepped away from the limelight. Whether they chose a life away from fame or simply disappeared without explanation, these are the celebrities you will never see again. Bega. Imagine the swing rhythms of the past mixed with a modern pop sensibility, and you get Bega, a German singer who shot to international fame with his infectious 1999 hit, Mambo Number 5 Inches. In an era when Eurodance was dominating the charts, Bega found a way to revive the classic mambo sound, turning a forgotten genre into a global phenomenon. With his trademark fedora and energetic performances, he became an icon overnight. But success didn't come easy. Bega spent years honing his craft before hitting it big. Despite releasing several follow-up tracks and albums, nothing quite matched the magic of his breakout hit. Many wonder, was he a one-hit wonder by choice or by circumstance? Whatever the case, Bega's name will forever be synonymous with that irresistible little bit of Monica in my life. Jet Li. Jet Li is a force of nature, both as a martial artist and as a global action star. Born in Singapore and raised in China, Li has captivated audiences with his unparalleled martial arts skills since his teenage years. He became a national wushu champion before transitioning to film, where he quickly gained international stardom. Movies like Fist of Legend and Hero showcased his raw physical power and elegance in combat, making him a household name not only in Asia, but around the world. What sets Jet Li apart isn't just his martial prowess, it's his ability to blend grace, discipline, and wisdom into every role he plays. Behind the scenes, Li has faced personal struggles, from health issues to finding balance between fame and family life. Despite stepping back from the big screen in recent years, his legacy as a martial arts icon is unshakable. Some might wonder, will he ever return to the spotlight in the way we remember? Only time will tell, but for now, Jet Li remains an enduring symbol of cinematic excellence. Jason Lee. Jason Lee may have started as a professional skateboarder, but his career took an unexpected turn into the world of acting, where he became a beloved star with his role in the hit TV show, My Name is Earl. Known for his quick wit, quirky humor, and an everyman charm that resonated with fans, Lee seamlessly transitioned from skateboards to scripts. But before he became a TV icon, Lee had a standout role in Kevin Smith's Mallrats, cementing his place in the indie film scene. What many may not know is that Jason Lee's heart has always remained tied to skateboarding. He co-founded Stereo Skateboards and continues to stay involved in the skate culture. His acting career, while diverse, has always reflected his rebellious spirit. In recent years, he's taken on more behind-the-scenes roles and pursued photography, leaving fans to wonder, will Jason Lee ever fully return to the silver screen? Whether on a skateboard or in front of a camera, Lee's influence on pop culture is undeniable. Meg White. Meg White is an enigma wrapped in minimalist beats. As the drummer for the White Stripes, she defined the sound of garage rock with her raw, stripped-down rhythms that were the perfect counterpart to Jack White's ferocious guitar riffs. While some critics questioned her simplistic drumming, fans adored her style, which felt more about emotion and less about technicality. The duo's breakthrough hit, Seven Nation Army, cemented them as icons of the early 2000s rock revival. But Meg, ever elusive, retreated from the public eye after the White Stripes disbanded in 2011. Rumors swirled. Why did she walk away at the height of fame? Was it burnout or simply a desire for privacy? Whatever the reason, Meg White's quiet departure only adds to her mystique, leaving fans to wonder if she'll ever return to the stage. Enya. Enya is the queen of ethereal music, crafting soundscapes that feel like whispers from another world. The Irish singer-songwriter has spent decades captivating listeners with her haunting melodies and layered vocals, becoming one of the best-selling artists of all time without ever touring or chasing the spotlight. From Orinoco Flow to Only Time, Her songs have an almost mystical quality, offering a sense of calm in a chaotic world. But Enya herself remains a mystery, living in near seclusion in a castle in Ireland, rarely giving interviews and avoiding the celebrity scene entirely. Some might wonder if her reclusive lifestyle is the secret to her creative longevity. While Enya may not be the most visible star, her music continues to resonate deeply, as timeless as the landscapes of her native Ireland. Josh Hartnett. Josh Hartnett was the Hollywood heartthrob of the late 90s and early 2000s, known for his brooding good looks and intense performances. Films like Pearl Harbor, Black Hawk Down, and 40 Days and 40 Nights catapulted him to fame, making him a staple on magazine covers. But just as quickly as he rose, Hartnett seemed to fade from the limelight. Unlike many actors who cling to fame, Hartnett took a step back, prioritizing his privacy and personal life over blockbuster roles. His decision to distance himself from Hollywood's glare left many fans asking, what happened to Josh Hartnett? While he's made a return in indie films and shows like Penny Dreadful, Hartnett's story is one of a man who chose to carve out his own path rather than follow the industry's demands. Mina Suara. Mina Suara shot to fame in the late 1990s with her unforgettable roles in American Beauty and American Pie, becoming a defining face of a generation. Her ethereal beauty and quirky charm made her stand out in a sea of rising stars. But behind the bright lights, Suara was quietly transitioning to a career that spanned beyond just acting, taking on roles as a film producer and delving into more independent films. While her star power may not shine as brightly as it did in the late 90s, Suara has remained an enduring figure, known for her resilience and dedication to the craft. In recent years, she's also opened up about personal struggles, showing a depth that goes far beyond her on-screen persona. Fans wonder, will Mina Suara ever reclaim the spotlight in the same way she did decades ago? Chris Tucker. Few comedians have made as big an impact as Chris Tucker in such a short time. Exploding onto the scene with his role as Smokey in Friday, Tucker became a fast favorite with his rapid-fire humor and high-pitched energy. But it was his pairing with Jackie Chan in the Rush Hour series that turned him into a global star, blending action and comedy in a way few had done before. Then just as his career was reaching its peak, Tucker stepped back from Hollywood, making only sporadic appearances in films. His retreat sparked questions. Why did he slow down when he was on top? Was it a personal choice, or did he lose interest in the industry? While Tucker has made a few comebacks, his legacy remains rooted in the timeless laughs he brought to the screen, leaving fans hoping for more. Nelly Furtado. Nelly Furtado burst onto the music scene in the early 2000s with her eclectic blend of pop, folk, and world influences. Tracks like I'm Like a Bird and Turn Off the Light showcased her unique voice and sound, making her a breakout star. But it was her 2006 album Loose, with hits like Promiscuous and Say It Right, that solidified her status as a pop powerhouse. Furtado has always been a musical chameleon, effortlessly switching between genres and styles. However, after the success of Loose, she stepped back from the spotlight, taking time to focus on family and personal projects. While she's made brief returns to music, many wonder if Nelly Furtado will ever make a full comeback to the top of the charts. Regardless, her legacy as a genre-defying artist remains intact. Leelee Sobieski. Leelee Sobieski was poised to be one of Hollywood's next big stars in the late 90s and early 2000s. Known for her roles in Deep Impact and Joan of Arc, Sobieski stood out with her striking looks and powerful performances. However, just as her career seemed to be taking off, she made the unexpected decision to step away from acting. In 2012, Sobieski revealed that she had no interest in the celebrity game and chose to prioritize her family and her passion for art. Now a full-time artist, Sobieski has disappeared from the spotlight by choice, channeling her creativity into painting and sculpture rather than the big screen. Her retreat was about seeking fulfillment in a world outside of Hollywood's intense glare. Eliza DUCHU. Eliza DUCHU, known for her tough girl roles in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Dollhouse, was a fan favorite in the early 2000s. Despite her popularity, DUCHU slowly faded from the mainstream spotlight after a series of television roles. While she never fully disappeared, DUCHU stepped back from Hollywood to focus on personal causes and advocacy work. In 2018, she opened up about experiencing harassment in the industry, which contributed to her retreat. DUCHU later turned her attention to substance abuse counseling and producing documentaries. Her exit from the limelight was less about vanishing and more about finding purpose in other areas of her life. Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis, the beloved star of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Ghostbusters, was one of the biggest comedy icons of the 1980s and early 1990s. But in 1997, Moranis stepped away from acting to focus on raising his children after the tragic death of his wife, SOBESKI. His decision was deeply personal. He wanted to be a full-time father and provide stability for his family. Moranis maintained a low profile for over 2 decades, only resurfacing for small voice roles and occasional interviews. His quiet departure from Hollywood was a rare example of a star walking away from fame for family, not scandal or burnout. Misha Barton. Misha Barton rose to fame as Marissa Cooper on the hit show The O.C., but her life off-screen soon became tabloid fodder. After leaving The O.C. in 2006, Barton's career stalled, and her personal life became turbulent, with reports of mental health struggles and legal issues. She disappeared from the A-list and took a break from acting to focus on her well-being. Barton later opened up about the pressures of fame at a young age and her desire to escape the toxic environment of Hollywood. Though she's made occasional returns to television and indie films, Barton's disappearance from the height of her fame reflects the toll the industry can take on young stars. Hayden Christensen. Hayden Christensen was thrust into the global spotlight with his role as Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Despite the massive success of the Star Wars franchise, Christensen largely disappeared from the Hollywood scene following these films. He retreated to his farm in Canada, choosing a quieter, more private life. Christensen cited his disillusionment with the Hollywood machine as a key reason for stepping back, preferring the peace and simplicity of rural life. While he has returned for select roles, including the Star Wars series Obi-Wan Kenobi, Christensen's disappearance was a conscious decision to prioritize personal happiness over stardom. Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz was one of the most bankable stars of the 2000s, with a string of hits like Charlie's Angels, The Mask, and There's Something About Mary. But after her role in Annie in 2014, Diaz disappeared from acting altogether. In interviews, Diaz revealed that she was mentally and physically exhausted from the demands of her career and needed a break. She stepped back to focus on her personal life, including her marriage to musician Benji Madden and the birth of their child. For Diaz, the decision to retire from acting was about reclaiming her sense of self and finding balance outside of the Hollywood hustle. While she has hinted at a possible return, her disappearance was all about self-care and family. Clive Owen. Clive Owen was once one of Hollywood's most sought-after leading men, known for his intense performances in films like Closer, Children of Men, and Inside Man. But in recent years, Owen has largely disappeared from blockbuster films, opting for more low-key roles in independent films and TV series like The Knick. Owen's retreat from the Hollywood spotlight wasn't due to scandal or burnout. It was a deliberate decision to focus on roles that challenged him artistically, even if they didn't come with the same level of fame. Fans still hope for another big return, but Owen seems content with his quieter path, choosing depth over Hollywood's dazzle. Judge Reinhold. Judge Reinhold, best known for his roles in Fast Times at Ridgemont High and the Beverly Hills Cop series, was a comedic staple in the 1980s and early 1990s. However, Reinhold's career started to fizzle out by the mid-2000s, and he gradually disappeared from the mainstream. His absence from the big screen can be attributed to typecasting and a series of minor legal troubles, including an infamous airport incident in 2016. While he has taken on smaller roles in independent films and TV, Reinhold's career never quite regained its earlier momentum, leaving fans wondering if he'll ever make a proper comeback. Renee Zellweger. Renee Zellweger was a fixture in Hollywood for years, with critically acclaimed roles in Bridget Jones's Diary in Chicago. But after a string of hits, she disappeared from the spotlight in the late 2000s. Her absence sparked rumors and tabloid speculation, but Zellweger later revealed she stepped away to focus on her personal life and well-being. After taking a break from the relentless pace of Hollywood, she made a triumphant return in 2016 with Bridget Jones's Baby and won an Academy Award for Judy in 2020. Zellweger's disappearance was a conscious choice to regain control of her life, and her return proved she hadn't lost her touch. Richard Simmons. Richard Simmons was a beloved fitness guru known for his infectious energy and flamboyant personality. He was a fixture in American pop culture for decades, helping millions get fit with his workout tapes and TV appearances. Then around 2014, Simmons vanished from public life, sparking widespread concern. Theories abounded. Was he being held against his will? Was he struggling with health issues? Simmons himself eventually addressed his absence, saying he had chosen to step away for a much-needed break. Despite assurances that he was fine, the mystery surrounding his disappearance from the public eye remains one of the most curious stories in recent pop culture history. Aaron Eckhart. Aaron Eckhart, known for his commanding roles in films like Thank You for Smoking and The Dark Knight, was a rising star in the 2000s. Yet after a string of high-profile roles, Eckhart seemed to fade from the spotlight. His disappearance from major films was due in part to his desire to pursue more personal projects and avoid being typecast as the Hollywood leading man. Eckhart has since appeared in a few smaller projects, but his shift away from blockbuster roles has left many fans wondering if he'll ever fully return to the Hollywood mainstream. Josh Hutcherson. Josh Hutcherson was one of Hollywood's most promising young actors, rising to fame with his role as Peeta Mellark in the Hunger Games series. But after the massive success of those films, Hutcherson seemingly stepped back from major blockbusters. His disappearance from the Hollywood spotlight wasn't due to a fall from grace, but a conscious choice to take on more personal and independent film projects. Hutcherson has shifted his focus toward producing and starring in smaller, more experimental films, showing a desire to grow as an artist rather than just chase mainstream success. Meg Ryan. Meg Ryan was the queen of romantic comedies in the 1990s, with films like When Harry Met Sally and Sleepless in Seattle, making her one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses. But after the early 2000s, Ryan gradually disappeared from the public eye. The reasons for her retreat are a mix of personal and professional choices. Ryan faced intense scrutiny over her personal life and appearance, which led her to step back from acting. She shifted her focus to directing and raising her family, quietly moving away from the Hollywood machine. While she's returned in a few small projects, her disappearance remains one of the more reflective examples of a star stepping away from fame. Julia Stiles. Julia Stiles was a breakout star of the late 90s and early 2000s, with memorable roles in 10 Things I Hate About You and Save the Last Dance. However, after her success in those films, Stiles gradually retreated from the Hollywood spotlight. Her disappearance wasn't due to scandal, but to her decision to pursue a degree at Columbia University and shift her focus to smaller, more character-driven roles. Stiles has since returned with roles in indie films and television, proving her talent is still intact, even if she's chosen a quieter path in the industry.